What's up, everybody? It's your boy Eddie. Thank you for joining me. Today is June 27, 2025, and we are going to talk about jury, the Diddy trial, the prosecution's closing arguments, and the defense closing arguments. And also, we are going to talk about jury deliberations. Okay? So, today was likely the last day the defense was able to give their closing arguments. I believe they're finished. And from the reports that I've seen online, well, let's talk about the prosecution. The prosecution said that their closing arguments, the basic synopsis is that they painted Diddy as some big criminal enterprise who trafficked women and committed racketeering and what else? Sex trafficking, racketeering. I think that's about it. Maybe a couple more. Pretty sure a couple more. They basically kind of threw the book at him because they ended up rearranging the charges and putting them under the umbrella of RICO. And so the prosecutors are painting him as some bad guy. They had a couple witnesses, 2 counts of sex trafficking, 2 counts of, what's the other one? Is it prostitution? Prostitution or something. Human trafficking, sex trafficking. With the primary victim being Cassie and the secondary victim being Jane, who is allegedly, what's her name? Daphne Joy. I said allegedly. So that's what the prosecutors' closing arguments were. The defense's closing arguments were about the government is overreaching and how this basically domestic violence case turned into a RICO charge, and how the government is basically encroaching into Diddy's private bedroom. Now, I'm going to be honest. When was it? Last year when Diddy was arrested and they had Homeland Security and they came in with guns and the military and all that other shit. At that moment, I thought Diddy was through. I thought that they got him with, I'm not even going to mention what I thought they got him with, right? I thought they got him with, I thought they were going to find some dead bodies in the backyard. The way that the media portrayed the raid and how the raid was carried out at his home. But now, after hearing the charges that were brought, it's like you have basically 2 victims. And, let me get back. What I was saying is that, I'll be honest, I think that the government is reaching, but let's get back to what the defense's closing arguments were. They were saying that Diddy's bedroom has been basically invaded, and that's why they're like, wow, they got the baby oil off the street, they got the KY jelly off the street, you know what I'm saying? And they're saying that basically Cassie, none of this would have, whole trial would not have started or been initiated if it wasn't for Cassie, who filed a $30 million lawsuit. And now Cassie has the money, and she ran, she's gone. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we're at right now. I know that they say that on Monday the prosecution is going to come back and rebuttal, but we're here this Friday. So let's talk about the jury deliberations, right? When the jury deliberates. I've been in a jury room, a mock jury room, but it was for a marketing thing where I was paid to do a mock jury type shit. And they kind of made it seem like it was real, right? And I'll tell you how a jury room, how it works, right? And I assume that's how it works for every jury room. So the case is presented and we deliberate. So when we deliberated, we were told, hey, do you think he's innocent or guilty? Or not guilty? Guilty or not guilty? So it was, I think, about 12 of us. And the way that the jury deliberated is basically we would talk about the circumstances and we would articulate why this is true or why this may not be true. And in this Diddy trial, somebody, based on those charges, right, there's going to be, generally a group has a leader, right? And eventually there's going to be an opposing leader and to the leader, or you just might have views. You can call them views, but there are generally going to be people who are more outspoken than the other people, or want to speak out, or feel more passionate about a topic than the rest, and they articulate it, and then the next person who opposes that will speak up and say, no, I don't think so. It may be that it could have been this way and not exactly how the prosecution said. So I say all that to say, when this jury deliberates, a couple factors is going to go in. Who has the loudest voice, the strongest opinion, and the most persuasive in that jury room, and who is able to articulate what's going on. Because there may be a hung jury. Now, in my specific instance, when I did the mock jury thing, we stayed in there for like 4-5 hours maybe. It seemed like a long time. It was not 8 hours. And I can't even imagine how 8+ hours or days of deliberation would go. I'm assuming there is just going to go in a circle. So you'll probably hear from everybody. So this juror will say, I don't think he's guilty because, Cassie was sending him love letters and Jane were sending him love letters, and there's no way that I can find a man who uh, continued in that relationship with a woman, even though they did have arguments. There's no way I can find him guilty of sex trafficking or of uh, prostitution because the woman said no or may have said no one time, right? There may be a juror who feels that way, right? And there may be another juror, and that juror there may be other jurors who also feel that way, like, I think this here is overreaching. They may feel like the defense, right, in the closing arguments. However, they may also be a juror or some jurors who say that, hey, these are the charges, and if she said no once, then I'm checking the box, right, of guilty. And there's going to be a clash of ideas, and the one who is likely, which idea is going to win, is likely the one who has something to hang their hat on. And that could be anything. It depends on the jurors and their life and their personal beliefs. So myself, obviously, I couldn't find him guilty of sex trafficking or racketeering, right? Although arson, and there was one kidnapping, right? That could be, some people may argue that, but it's like you have to have a criminal enterprise. And I don't think that the criminal enterprise element, because when you think of criminal enterprise, you're thinking of all illegal shit. Like basically faking a business, a legitimate business, but you're actually running a criminal organization, right? That's what a criminal enterprise is. So there's no way I would be able to convict him on racketeering either, because there was no criminal enterprise. Yes, he committed crimes. He may have committed crimes. Well, he did commit battery, right? That was obvious. But it's like I can't find him guilty with the evidence that was put forth to me. Now, I'm just one guy. I'm basically a nobody, right? But I'm just giving you the mind of the jury room with my experience that I had in the jury room, a mock jury room. So we're going to see how this goes. I think that it's bullshit, and I think the government is reaching. This case would have never happened if Cassie would not have. Well, I don't blame her for filing a lawsuit. That's on her. But the government would not have this case if it wasn't for Cassie. And she should be ashamed that she actually testified, right? Because she got the money. Now she wants to like step on his neck. And the other girl too, she's still getting paid by Diddy. He's still paying her rent. It's like, nah, I can't find dude guilty. Not guilty. I'm out.